Hey there everyone and welcome to some more Near Monsters PvP. This was from the special rule quite recently where we had to make link teams. We had to put 10 monsters of the same element into our team. Now I went completely all in. I've got 15 out of 16 monsters being Storm. You can see my opponent Squinty here has gone with Link Fire. He makes some really powerful Link Fire teams. And we're not going to talk about the team, we'll talk about it after this match, we'll have a look at it. We're just going to focus on this match to begin with. So unfortunately my Leo guys goes, I try and stun the Catmander because Catmander's going to start getting around to sweeping and I haven't got a whole lot of killing power at the moment. I can kill the Sanctus Stag with my Galvbane slowly. And also with my Bobby Boom's got Counter Strike so it can do a bit of damage to it too. But anyway, I use the taunt with Static Sphere hoping that it will force him to cause him more problems than if I do the Blood Clone. The Blood Clone just feels a bit too slow. Then he does Knockback, which seems smart until the Time Strike double comes, and I think he then regretted that fact that he did Knockback. Yeah, the Static Sphere is out of play, but it's still got the clone and stuff. It's going to cause problems at the back. Anyway, so I remove the shield from Infernocorn, intending to kill it here with Time's Up. However, I then actually decide to do Novum Domina and Catmander. In hindsight, probably should have just killed the Infernocorn and Catmander. I disconnected as well. The opponent Squinty disconnected, then reconnected. You'll see we disconnect a few times, and I disconnect generally over the course of this. I was having internet trouble at the time. Anyway, so that Infernocorn caused me problems. He actually didn't charge it. He didn't need to charge it to kill off my monsters, and it's then meant he can just clear through my team really nicely. However, those two Daimonoids did slow him down quite a bit there. They kind of took some of the brunt of that. And then I get extremely lucky with Malwing sleeping Infernocorn. I think I definitely would have just been on the back foot losing had it not been for that sleep going on Infernocorn. Really, really lucky. So I can protect here. So if he does the Berserk Smash, it will just put my Drakazord to 1 HP and I can give turn a Desperate Double, but he cleverly does Repent on Infernocorn to get that back into play. I can put something to sleep now with Vigzurid. Vigzurid is one of the biggest players in my team. It's so powerful in Link Storm because when it gets a turn it can put something to sleep and then kill something else. Really, really good. So here I could Fast Strike Infernocorn. I'm looking and there's Delegazar coming up next. I kind of want to line things up fairly reasonably close with my Vigzurid. So I skip and then I'm like, this Infernocorn actually doesn't have attack boost, so I could skip behind it and then, force it to be a little bit more. I want to get rid of that Crimzaeus too, ideally, before it gets a turn, because I don't want it to bring Ashteros back into play, because I've got Sleep later on in my team, and Ashteros is a big counter to that. I think he either forgets that he hasn't done attack boost, or just goes for it anyway, and it actually really nicely lines up my Drakazord now for Desperate Double. So I hesitate a bit before giving him a Tigeron, decide to go for it anyway, and now I've got the Desperate Double to kill off Delegazar and Infernocorn. And then I can immediately give turn to Drakazord to do Desperate Double again. So here I've got to think quite carefully. Nothing's going to be stunned. My plan was to give turn and then do Link Stun Flash followed by a Desperate Double. However, things aren't going to be stunned because of Aetherian, and I'm deciding that there's also Lavaronix next, which I don't particularly want to come in. Because if it comes in now, it's probably going to get a turn before my Tigeron and stuff. So I just put things to 1 HP, and his Tigeron can't actually kill my Drakazord. He can't kill my Tigeron too easily, unless he does like hit all, which he goes for because he wants to get rid of my Tigeron. So that happens, and then he also needs to get rid of my Drakazord, so he does a hit all with Aetherian. My Centurion comes in, just doesn't stun a thing, that's fine. Now's a good opportunity to get rid of Tigeron when I'm not going to get hit by the Stun Revenge. However, really unfortunately, I disconnect at this point, and then it just randomly passed turn with my Centurion, it timed out. So, that's annoying. I then shield my Vigzurid, and I'm thinking I could do the same thing here with my Stratostrike, but then actually I'd rather do it in a little bit of time, doing the same kind of idea of not letting his monsters get, being prepared for each monster when it enters. I could also maybe do the one-on-one when it comes in. But yeah, as it turns out, he's only got a few monsters left, so I'm just going to use Double Survivor to take out that Aetherian. He's got Sleeping Magmarinus. Blue Maluga isn't going to do anything for a while. Centurion can Raw Blood Crave when it gets a turn on Lavaronix, so he just gives up at that point. great battle with Squinty. I really enjoyed it. Messaged him after it, and yeah, I mean, it was a really, really close battle. Nice back and forth. Great bit of Link Storm against Link Fire. Really enjoyed it. So this is the team itself. I'm going to go through it now. And to begin with, we've got Static Sphere with, well, I should point out, it's the Ryzen and Galvabane combo. They work really nicely. Galvabane doing Stun Pulse to line up the, basically set up the Time Strike double on Ryzen. Really, really nice together. Leogeist for the stun protection. And it's also got Inspire, which is ideal for Static Sphere, because Static Sphere has really high second moves. You want to do the Taunt and also the Blood Clone next, which in total is like 260 seconds. Having Inspire on Leogeist is really good for speeding that up, because I can use Taunt first and then Inspire it, and in most battles they're pretty much forced to hit it, and then it means it will get a turn like in Blood Clone next. It happened a lot of the time like that, and it was just really, really useful. So I think that was probably what I was going for in that Squinty battle just now, which is why I did Taunt first. It depended on what I came up against, but my front line was very versatile for dealing with different threats. It was before Ryzen had Time's Up, it had just Chrono Killer, so before Ryzen went mainstream. Anyway, so it's a Static Sphere kind of setup at the beginning. Next in line, I have Bulby Boom for extra stun protection, and the Link Stun Flash is excellent for, setting up the Ryzen and Galvabane. Just really good for all-round type stuff. It's also Purify there for any one-on-one or that kind of thing in the front line. Having a Purify in 5th position is always nice. Then I've got Dull Freeze. Dull Freeze is mainly in there for Time's Up. I just really, really, really need to get rid of stun protection, because when you play Link Storm, you most likely have a lot of stun in the team, and that's how you will win the battle. So I have a Chrono Killer in the front line, and then in 6th position have a Time's Up. Now with Ryzen having Time's Up as well, this would be even better at removing any stun counters. And then also the two Diamondoids it can create is excellent, because one thing I didn't mention about Static Sphere is some battles I would use LM Accelerate, and it would mean my Leogeist hits every like 35 seconds, I think it is. That Crescendo Strike becomes so powerful so quickly, and it can be done behind Protectors as well. So if I've gone down that route, the Protectors from Dull Freeze was so good. There were so many battles which I actually just won with like these front 6 monsters. Because I took control of the battle. There was cloning from the Static Sphere, that was taunting, there was Protectors in there, and I was just really high speed sweeping through the enemy team. So then from going back further than that, we've got the Penguinator, great in Link Storm. I don't really rate Penguinator. For most teams, I think it's an overplayed monster, because Slayer Banal seems like it's really powerful, but a lot of the time it's too slow, or Slayer Banal just like they're stealthed, or only one of them has a kill, so it won't actually one-shot. I don't really think it's that amazing, but the Link Double Retribution is very, very strong, so it's great for that. And then I've got, and also it's around Protectors, which generally makes it better. Dracozoard, excellent in Link Storm. Malwing, great all round. Then I've got the Houdinoid, that's mainly a cost thing. It just slips in nicely. Then we've got Vixierid, like I said, incredibly powerful in Link Storm. Tigeron, I love that monster. And then at the back, what we have here is a nice little end game that I put together that I hoped it would work, and as it turned out, it really did work. It pulled me back of some matches. So it's built around Stratu Strike with the one-on-one, and before that I've got Don Dolguini, which has the 250-second Mega Bomb, as well as Gravity Field, which does shut down some things. So the idea is that comes in, then Static Sphere Stratu Strike comes in, and we'll use one-on-one, and then when the one-on-one's passed, Don Dolguini can blow up and kill all the enemies. And Centurion next in line is an instant speed Purify, Roaring Entrance Purify, so it can get me out of any problems that one-on-ones put me in, and generally just good for control. And having Centurion, and then at the back of the team, that is the first form of Zephyrin, which has both Stunning Entrance and Stun Burst. Like, there is a ton of stun in this team, so I really need to at all times keep the enemy team open to stun, and generally that will mean that I can just control things massively. Having so much stun as well behind Stratu Strike and Don Dolguini I found very effective. There were some battles where I didn't want a one-on-one, but sorry, I said that a bit quickly, where I didn't want to one-on-one, but it actually was fine, because with the second, it's like 310 seconds of stun behind Strike. Some games that was what I went with. I just let the stun carry the time and then used double survivor after that. So really nice synergistic team that I put together. Link Storm is probably the thing I'm most well known for. I have, as it turns out, like almost all the Storm legendaries. I've just happened to pick them up over time. And, you know, when you put them together, they work nicely, and you can put them in a sensible order like this, and it works really well. So this team was not, like, exceptionally strong. It wasn't like I could come first in PvP, but it was absolutely, for the special rule, would have been like a top 10 team. It was working really well. So moving on from that, we've got a couple more matches to show in this video. So let's get into this next one. So this is against a Seer. I don't know exactly how to say that. It's a Link Earth team. Got protectors, as Link Earth often does. And then he's got Tigger Senshi behind the protectors to be a massive nightmare. So I decide to kind of kill off my own Galvbane. Galvbane is the weakest Link in my front line, so great opportunity to just absorb that payback revenge. And Static Sphere, I'm doing the taunt here because Tigger Senshi is probably going to hit it. Like, they can't really stop hitting it from Tigger Senshi, as well as Sanctus Stag is going to, you know, sleep the team. Static Sphere actually goes to sleep, so it's ideal now. It just gets a turn anyway and can clone. Ryzen doesn't have the stun retribution. Maybe it should have the stun. Yeah, it does have stun retribution. Okay, yeah, so I use that to get Willow-Worm out of play. Purify, so Oak Fury can't do a whole lot, and can start charging the Crescendo Strike. Oak Fury is probably going to knock back. Well, I was going to say it was going to repulse Ryzen, but it didn't. Ryzen can't do a lot though, to be honest, because something like Willow-Worm stuns it. Shuts it down so well. Willow-Worm and Blue Maluga are a nightmare for Ryzen. It's why you need like some single time strike in your team. Galvbane's good for that. So now he gets rid of the Overwatch, while Ryzen can't really do anything. And now I've got to decide, do I taunt here or do I Blood Clone next? I think probably Blood Clone next, because I've already got a taunting Static Sphere, so I can try and just mess this guy up massively with Static Spheres. He is Link Earth, so they're not going to be as effective, but even so, it doesn't really matter too much. And he actually stunned my team massively here, so he's going to have to hit these Static Spheres and, you know, kill off his own monsters. It does get rid of Tigger Senshi very nicely. So now I Blood Clone next again, really trying to mess him up with these Static Spheres. I could Purify, but there's not too much point. I'd rather his Oak Fury just kills my monsters. It's totally fine, because he's going to kill these Static Spheres and just keep losing monsters himself. Don't know what exactly he's going to do with D-Ragon. Probably just... oh no, he knocked back. Okay, fair enough. That my Dolphreeze was going to be a problem for him. So I decide to Ultra Thunder there because his Dolphreeze is going to kill my Leogeist anyway. And as it happened, yeah, he did. Again, my Malwing slept the stun converter. So lucky. It wasn't normally like this, but it just happened to do it in the clips which I saved. So now I could Purify Mist. However, the next monster that's going to come in is going to sleep my team. So I'd rather just take that sleep when my monsters are poisoned. And I can set these up as, set Malwing up as a sweeper. Most people just go straight with Blowback, but it's actually got a really fast time strike. Like, just 47 seconds is excellent. And, now I've element accelerated it. But yeah, that's going to be a brilliant sweeper. And he can't even hit it now because I've put Protect on. So he tries to hit it. I think he forgets that my Protector's on. And now I've got the Stealth for Oak Fury. Things are really nicely lining up. So he removes stealth from my Malwing, but with a couple of taunts on, there's a very low chance you can actually hit my Malwing. Now I can Blood Crave, only 68 seconds on the Blood Crave, so I get rid of his monster that can, you know, single target. It had Blood Fury charged, I'm pretty sure. It's not much to do, so I just charge my Static Sphere. Maybe I'll get to do an energy burst. It's quite rare that happens, but this battle might be one. So at the back of his team, he has slightly weaker monsters. This person they do have a great collection. I'm slightly surprised that they've got Burns a lot in there. It's probably just for synergy with that next monster, Terragor, which he's got coming in. Oh yeah, really unfortunately the Oak Thulu doesn't go to hold ground, so I had to use both energy bursts to kill it off. I wanted to make sure I did kill it off. And now I get rid of the Terragor because that's the only thing which like might really cause me an issue. Burns a lot can't actually hit me because my monsters are stealthed. My stealth worked really well in this battle to stop what the opponent wanted to do. He used Divine Rebirth, very nice use of that. Again, not too much I can do with my Static Sphere. I just decide to accelerate the new one, so that maybe I can keep the chain going. But he decides, no, I need to get rid of that now, so he gets rid of both of those Static Sphere before that continues to mess him up. Now I try and, I think, did I go for Moku there? I couldn't see, but I think probably I tried to Blood Crave the Moku. He can now... oh no, he can't true hit because he's got a Rockoid. At the back though, was there a Sober King? I'm not entirely sure. I think maybe. I can't remember exactly. But I have a feeling when I recorded this clip that was something I wanted to mention, that he actually did Divine Rebirth with the Sober King and then sacrificed his own Sober King with the Swift Catapult. But maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe it's not lined up like that. Unfortunately, I disconnected again, so I'll just skip that out. I'll cut that out. So it looks like he took down my what's it called? The one of my favourite monsters, Stratostrike. That's it, Stratostrike. Don't know why I was struggling to remember that. It looks like he took down my Stratostrike before it got a turn. I'm just going to shield my Centurion because this is my nice sweeper right now. Having a bit of shielding at the back it's actually really nice. I'm often down on shielding in general when it's on a moveset, but it works out really nicely in some cases, and this is one of those. He only has a couple of monsters. I can give turn to my Centurion to Raw Blood Crave to go around things as well, but I decide not to. I just shield my monsters because Don Dolguini is going to remove the protectors anyway. Before things go, too crazy. So that was that battle. Moving into the next one, we're now against a Link Holy team, and this is a really nice front here. He's got some great Holy monsters in Jagardian, Disikian, and Angel Iron, and then Heaven's Worm is obviously a brilliant include in any Link Holy team. So I'm going to potentially kill the Lord's Reign, but then I decide, well, if I kill it, then I have to face the double retribution. But no, I go for it anyway. I don't actually know what this battle is in the commentary. I'm just going to see it as it plays. So the Jagardian's obviously going to double retribution. This looks like it's a bad position, and my Static Sphere, doesn't seem so effective because they have shields. However, it's actually quite a nice counter to shields, because shields can be a pain to get rid of sometimes. But anyway, I go ahead and remove shields from various monsters. So when my Static Sphere, one of them, does die, then it will be pretty nasty on his team. He does a random hit all, which was not particularly effective because it just removed the previous Static Sphere and still allowed me to clone with this one. I'm deciding, do I maybe want to taunt, and I go for it. So the Angel Line went down with that explosion, which then means he's kind of open to stun, so I'm able to stun him a little bit, and I can kill off the Jagardian now. Not so good because he's got an Aura Dragon, but I decided to go for it anyway because it would hopefully get me into the battle a bit more. Here's always an awkward position when you've got Disikian and an Aura Dragon which you need to kill, and you don't. Killing Flocculosaurus when Angel Lion's on the field is really not good. So not Angel Lion, Aura Dragon. Because a 1 HP Flocculosaurus is still a nightmare. And I'm a Link Storm team too, so it's not good at all. But I went for it anyway, just decided to crazily sweep through his team. And as it turns out, he doesn't really have any aggression here in his monsters. So I got pretty lucky. It paid off me just killing through his team. It looks like he had a lot of really powerful stuff at the beginning, and then now he got into his mid game where he has like some protectors, some support control type stuff, but not actual full aggression type things that we saw with the Jaguardian and Angelime and that kind of stuff. Like they're the ones which can really power through a team, whereas right now it's just sort of the support kind of section. Scarlet is going to be a problem though with all my stun monsters. So had that Tortoise protected? I didn't focus on that for a second. I don't know if it's protected yet. So that might be really good with the stun on it. I can give turn to my Penguinator. I think this was one of the few times I used Rescue Screen give turn. I envisioned that maybe I would need to use it, but I actually didn't really get to. It's a good opportunity to kill both those payback revenge-like monsters. So I did that. And I don't mind quite a low HP Penguinator in his team. I put to sleep the Scarlet Guard. That's going to be the biggest problem of his monsters. He can purify it, but he won't be able to purify it for a little while, so that's fine. I decide not to kill the Seraphine there because I'd rather keep a bit of control, and Malwing's going to be a sweeper for me again. I'm not doing the blowback, and I can also use times up a second time, killing the Seraphine there, so it lined up as a second use of times up. So I'm probably going to use this chance to get rid of the Jaguardian. Oh no, I get rid of Midas Dragon. Okay, that's interesting. But anyway, he disconnected at this point, so I got the win. I didn't actually expect him to disconnect at this point. I thought maybe he had a bit of a chance, but he decided to give up anyway. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the team. Linkstorm, like I said, I've got a few videos on Linkstorm. I seem to make Linkstorm teams. And yeah, I hope it's inspired you to do some Linkstorm. There are quite a few people doing it right now because Ryzen got buffed, and Ryzen's really good now. But anyway, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in another video soon.